Testing 1, 2. All right, we are just waiting on YouTube to go live. And it's funny. It says I'm on YouTube, but I don't see it streaming. Oh, there we go. Now we're streaming. What's going on, guys? Donnie Rouse here, and I'm just going to go right into it. Hi, guys. My name is Donnie Rouse, and you are listening to the podcast One Life. Out of the weeds. Oh, my God, it's loud. Hold on one second. I got almost made myself go deaf. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start that one more time. Hi, guys. My name is Donnie Rouse, and you are listening to the podcast One Life. Out of the weeds. If you are living, there is no doubt that at some point in your life that you are going to get thrown off course, meaning that you are going to forget what it is that you are going after. And as a result of that, all of a sudden, life is going to feel like a struggle. When it feels like life is a struggle, when it feels like you don't know your direction forward, it's important to have a strategy. So this way you can pull yourself out of the weeds, meaning like to get back on track. And you can do this by doing three things. One of the things is just being aware, knowing when you are off, right? Because unless you have that consciousness, you can't change it. But you have to see where you're getting veering off and hit that pause button. The second thing you need to do is to connect to your vision. What is it that you're going after? Why do you want the thing in the first place? And thirdly, one of the things I like to do that I like the most is to start infusing my senses, my brain, getting into a new environment and putting new things into my mind. And I'm going to share a story with you and show you the entire process and how I overcame this a hard week by doing everything I just described above. So this time of year is often challenging for me because I tend to get in this loop, meaning this repetitive cycle where my weeks literally are mirror images of the other. And when this happens, I notice around August, after doing it for a couple months, that my body, I start to build up this anxiety in my body. And it starts to break me down where I start saying things like, there's no time for anything. There's no time for myself. I don't have a moment for myself. And as you could guess, once you start telling that story, all of a sudden it's a snowball effect. Now all of a sudden there's less time and you're missing out on things where you could be spending with your family. Even though you're there, you're not really there. So when you fall into this mindset, what it's really doing is avoiding you of life. There was a point where I was, my sleep was getting disturbed. And I would wake up in the middle of time, sometimes multiple times. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'd wake up tired, I'd wake up anxious. I would go to a farmer's market at work. I'd feel great when I was there. The moment I would be completely depleted of energy. And I knew that something needed to change. And then I went into the next step is I remember, well, what is it that I am going after? Why do I want it in the first place? One of those things on my list right now is completing the update and rolling out my One Life Blueprint course again. At the time, it felt like I was like, oh, I just need to get it done. I need to get it done. And I would put this masculine energy into doing it, meaning it's like, just get it done. But if I'm doing that, if I'm using that energy to complete the course, to update it and roll it out again, it's not the same energy that I want to give to the people who are partaking in it, because it doesn't feel as present for me. And so when I connected with the reason as why I want to do it, one, because I want to share the journey that I went through and the process that I created to live and make sense of my own life, so I may share it with others. So this way, no moments get missed out. Then all of a sudden, I started to connect to something that was a higher. I connected to my heart rather than all the crap that was swirling around in my brain. The next thing I did, and probably one of the most important, and I guess sometimes connecting to your vision could be that thing where it clicks and then you're like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do. But sometimes it takes a little bit more. Sometimes you have to flood some good information, some good media, so to speak, into your mind, right? Because weeds are going to grow whether you like it or not. And just by living, you are going to encounter weeds, right? You have your conditioning that you've been brought up with, that those things that come up repeatedly, that you sometimes you may be conscious of, maybe you're unconscious of, but they just show up by default. Then you have your, the demands of others. You have other drama that other people bring into your life, and you want to show up for people, but at the same time, sometimes it takes a piece of you. And you have to find a way to come back to your center. And one of the best ways to do that is to start taking in good media, good information, things that will make you grow. So during this time, I remembered a lesson that one of my coaches gave me. They said, you know what, when you have one thing that comes in that's actually, I think the example was for every one like negative person, you need to have 5 positive, right? Because this way it overpowers, and you keep your mindset positive. And the same thing was working in life. So I remembered, I'm like, well, what am I taking in? Like, what am I ingesting, so to speak? And I'm like, well, I don't really watch TV. Once in a while I go on social media, but I don't even really do that. But by default, right? I know my brain is always swirling around. And if I spend time alone, I will often go into doubt, and then I will delay the things that I'm going towards. So as a result of just realizing that, like, the weeds show up by default without me doing anything, I was, you know what? I need to put some positive information into my mind. Let me just start reading again, because I'd always say, like, oh, there's no time to read. There's no time to read. But one of the things I remembered is that when I sit down to read, it made me present. And it also put my focus as to where I want to go, focused on my own development. So I picked up a book, and ironically, it's funny how when I picked up this book, I was going through the Kindle store, and I was like looking at different titles of books, and this title didn't really make sense to me, but I clicked on it because I like to feel the energy of something. And I felt the energy. I was like, I don't know if I should buy this book, but it feels good. I'm just going to freaking go with it. And I went with the feeling of it. And coincidentally, it has everything to do with designing a life, a fulfilling and life that you love. So I'm like, wow, all right, thank you, God. Universe is aligned. And as I started reading that, I started to realize like the path I was on, and that, again, acknowledging the journey and just giving myself more grace. And as a result of doing that, I just started flowing. I started taking some time in my day, not, cutting out the busy work, realizing, yes, that work is important, but it's most important for me to be in this moment right now, to enjoy this moment, to realize that like life is happening now. Like tomorrow may never even come, right? None of us know our time. So it brings you back to that present moment to realize, you know what, let me do something today that just fills me up. And there are those moments where you are going to feel like you want to conquer the world, and you just want to work and keep chugging along. And there's also those moments where you're like, you know what, I don't really feel like working right now. And that's okay as well, because you need those moments. It's this ebb and flow. Because by taking that relax, by listening to your body, all of a sudden now you could, when that tide comes in again, all of a sudden it lifts you up and you go further faster. So when I started doing all of the things I just mentioned, 1, being conscious of my state, 2, connecting to my vision, 3, starting to flood my senses, my brain with positive information, all of a sudden everything changed. All of a sudden my mood lifted. All of a sudden I was taking time to be present in my day and to enjoy activities that I wasn't allowing myself to do because I felt like I had to be at a certain destination yesterday. I'll share you one more story. This is related. I was talking to one of my good friends, and I was telling her, I was sharing, one of the best things that you can have is friends that you could lean into. And so I was sharing with her. I was like, I have a hard time opening up to people and sharing my true feelings. So friends out there, probe, dig in there and say, Donnie, well, what are you really feeling? Share with me. So I had a hard time. I was sharing with my friend, and I was telling her how I felt like all the stuff with my business should have happened yesterday. She's like, all right, well, explain it a little bit more. What should have happened? I was like, well, with Cold Roman, I mean, feel like it's taking too long. And she's like, well, why is it taking too long? I was, well, I submitted this with this lab. I'm doing this, and now I'm waiting. And she's like, well, you're doing everything you can. Like you can't go any faster than where you're going. So why don't you just, acknowledge the growth, acknowledge the steps that you are taking. And then I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, really, like I've done everything I can up until this point. And when that next step makes itself, I'm taking the steps. And then when that next step makes itself known, I will take that next step. So when she said that, it was like a load off. And it reminded me to just be more loving and give myself more grace. So that is really everything I am talking about in this episode here, is for you to do exactly that. Is to spend more time in this present moment, is to give yourself more grace, and to take a step back when your life is when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel like you're being pulled in a million directions, when you feel like you just can't get over this mindset that's moving towards the negative all the time. To remind yourself to put some positive things in there. Look at things that make you feel good and that will remind you of what it is that you were going for in the first place and why you want it, because the why is the most important part. Because we all want things in life, right? But it's not necessarily the thing that we want. It's the reason for the feelings that it's going to give us, right? You're not looking for, why do I want to travel the world? It's not because I want to see the sights, but it's for this sense of excitement, this sense of adventure that I feel like that is really, really what I want to get, as well as the friends I meet along the way. So I hope this helps you. Again, I'll go over those three things. One is just get aware. Know when you are feeling off, so this way you can reconnect. Secondly, have a vision for your life. Have a vision for each category of your life. So this way, when you start to veer off, you know exactly how to reconnect and align to move forward again. And then thirdly, look at your diet. I'm not talking about your food diet, although it could be related to your food diet. But look at the media you are consuming, the news you are consuming, whatever inputs you are consuming on a daily basis. And even if that's nothing, you have the doubts that you're in your own mind, the weeds in your own mind that continue to grow. Know that they're going to grow automatically. And as a result, feed it some fertilizer, some good stuff that is going to improve your mindset and keep you moving towards your goals, but as well as enjoying this present moment here right now. So that is what I've got for you guys today. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, for allowing me to share this message, to share a piece of my life with you, because I hope that in some way you're probably going through something similar and that it benefits you. So if you know anyone who's going through a similar experience, please share this with at least 5 people. And then if you have any questions or comments, you can send them to me via my website at www.donnierouse.com. Again, www.donnierouse.com. Again, please hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and that is it. And then we'll have more great episodes like this. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you only get one life. Live fully, live passionately, and most of all, live now. God bless you guys, and I will see you again soon.